Alright, motherfuckers. This is the weekly goal video. Again, I'm still on holidays, so not really planning this too much, but just gonna kind of talk about random shit. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there's also not that much to say because in terms of how gold is looking right now, if we look here at the day chart, I mean, yeah, look at this. We're just kind of continuing this slow but steady climb up. And if we particularly look at the lower time frames, we're just constantly making higher lows all the time. And while we have seen quite a strong resistance at this 1890 level, these higher lows just kind of suggest that we're eventually going to smash through them, you know. And yeah, even if we saw a bit of a correction, I mean, I don't see how it goes. The retracement goes very far back at this point, you know. I mean, I don't see where we're going to get that catalyst to signal that kind of like deeper reversal. I mean, but at the moment, especially if we look at the hourly chart, I just think that the resist, you know, every time that we go back down, we seem to make previous support resistance, right? That we saw here, and then we made down and we made the resistance. Same here. This was previous resistance. We made a support here, and vice versa, by, you know, so on and so on. So from a technical standpoint, again, like we've been saying, or I've been saying for the last like 4 videos I've done on gold, you gotta take opportunities to open buy long positions. Don't try and short this market because you're just gonna fuck yourself, okay? But on top of that, from a macroeconomic standpoint, right, we're still in a position where, like, again, every week, I just feel like more things are coming into play, which signals, or which kind of gives further push to bullishness in gold. We now have the Fed that came out at the end of last week, who was basically just saying, you know, really kind of tempering inflation talk and tempering, you know, increasing interest rates or anything like that. And while, you know, if there's a sentiment that inflation is kind of or like not as serious, obviously that could be negative for gold, but especially the way that they're being so against increasing interest rates and just saying, no, we need to be more, we need to take things slowly in terms of the economic recovery and make sure that we don't push things too quickly in terms of raising interest rates. It's just going to make the dollar tank even more, right? So again, this increase here is not just about people being bullish on gold, but it's also just people being so bearish on the dollar. If we look at the dollar, the DXY chart here, I mean, on the hourly, you can just see the dollar has just been a free fall, and this has been like this now for multiple days. I mean, multiple weeks even. And is this really going to change anytime soon? I mean, okay, this week, obviously the big news in terms of the data, if we go to the calendar here, the big thing that we're obviously going to be paying attention for is the GDP data announcement, which is on Thursday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just pull that up here. GDP. This is, yeah, here we go. So this is on Thursday, I believe. Yep. So obviously we have that big, you know, that big data release on Thursday, and I expect that this will show, you know, strong economic recovery. But I mean, okay, yes, it may provide the initial, you know, kind of short-term movement in the market, but sooner or later, again, when the Fed is not going to increase interest rates, which is causing the DXY to drop, which is also causing yields now even to drop at all-time lows, or not all-time lows, sorry, forgive me, but all-time, you know, relative lows, right? It just, everything is just signaling to, you got to buy gold now, and that's it. I mean, when yields are decreasing like this that we're seeing here, right now we're below 1.6, even tech stocks are going to start continuing to pump from their all-time highs. So I mean, why the hell wouldn't other assets like gold also not? So yeah, everything is just pointing into the right direction. So honestly, again, there's not much I can really say, guys. But apart from buy dips, be smart with your support and resistance. Okay, draw out your any supports that you really see, right? So now, like for example, I had this 1858 line draw here, which I thought was like quite a strong support that we kind of got this bounce here, and it's just this general area. We made a previous resistance. This is pretty good, but now I also even see that we kind of have a new line that we can kind of draw here, right? Around 1870. 1870 really seems to be kind of like a strong previous resistance. Then we were kind of playing through that, and now we've made a real support here, right? Especially if we look at the hour chart too. In the shorter term time frame, yes, we're really starting to make this 1870 to 1873 price range kind of real support. And with the bullish momentum that we're going, if you're bullish on gold, then you can start setting a buy limit around here. So when we get that next pullback, it'll trigger, and then maybe you can continue to ride that. And start just setting your buy limits at key support and resistance levels that you see as fit, okay? I can't tell you exactly what support and resistance is ideal for you, because you may not be as bullish as me and so forth. So you got to do that ultimately. But just look at the charts. Don't look at any time frames lower than 15 minutes, and set your buy limits like that. Ultimately, I still think we're going to go to 1900 pretty soon. So it's time to take advantage of this market now, guys. All right. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Let me know. Cheers.